Hey everybody, welcome back. Even though I feel like maybe you guys should be saying that to me. um, so it's been a hot minute, let's just say that. And I want to talk about where I've been, how things have been going. If you saw the past few videos, you know that I had bottom surgery. So me and my boyfriend have been out in California. He's been taking care of me, and he's been an absolute gem through this whole journey of mine. And we've been in San Francisco. The doctor that I chose was Dr. Heidi Wittenberg, and she specializes in the peritoneal pull-through vaginoplasty. And I'd like to quote her here. She says that that's her baby as far as like surgeries. You know, she takes it very seriously, and she really excels and tries to do the absolute best she can every time. And my experience with her has been absolutely wonderful, way better than I could have ever expected from a surgeon. Up until now, I've kind of had ups and downs with surgeons, so it was definitely a fear that I could potentially go in with something mildly functioning and come out with something with no function. And so it's it was very overwhelming, physically, mentally, financially. It's all been a roller coaster. And like, for example, working prior to surgery was very hard. My brain was elsewhere. I couldn't focus. I couldn't do the things that I needed to do. But we made it through it. We went out to California. March 3rd was my first appointment. And then March 8th was my surgery. And my surgeon was very kind. She answered all my questions and made me feel really at home and really at peace. And she held my hand the entire time, and she was great. And then once I was out, she did her thing, and I woke up in recovery, and I felt lovely. You know, I was kind of curious and was like peeking under the covers, like. Unfortunately, I couldn't see initially because they have what they call a wound vac on there, which is like draining. You know, if you bleed, it like sucks all the blood out of there, so it's not like constantly free flowing. And there's like this big sponge over you and like taped down, so you can't really see anything. So for the first like I think week or so, I couldn't even see what had happened. But she showed me a like on the table surgery picture, and I was like, I made the right decision. And I say that because, you know, whenever you pick a surgeon, it shouldn't be exclusively based on can they do the surgery that I want. It should be can they do the surgery how I want, and give me the things that I want from that. Such as, for me, a big part of the surgery is aesthetics. I want it to look more natural. I want it to feel more natural, and for both me and my partner. And for me, I went with the peritoneal pull through, which, if you don't know, they take like a piece of tissue from your peritoneal lining, and they pull it through to the introitus of your vagina. And this is originally a surgery for cisgender women, and transgender women obviously can benefit from it. And basically, it's like pink. It self lubricates, and as far as I know, like I have full control over it. Like I was so amazed. A couple days post-op, I could feel the like gauze in there, and I could kind of like squeeze it a little bit, and I was like, oh, that's crazy. And it just made me elated to feel like I made the right choice. And I did so much research. I checked so many surgeons, and there was other ones that I was considering, but Wittenberg seemed to have the closest aesthetic that I could find that would fit me the best. And she also didn't have an insanely high wait time. It was still like moderately high as far as like wait times go. Like I think I waited a year and a half or something like that for surgery, and her assistant also does the same surgery, and I think his wait time is a little shorter. But I personally requested her because I, you know, I just feel like she could do it the absolute best. And I've seen his work, and he is super high up there. Like if she was completely unavailable, I would absolutely go to him. But for me, it was a personal preference that I go with her. And like I said, you want to do your research because there's so many people that do that surgery now, and you could just go to anybody and everybody to get it done. But I don't want anybody feeling like they made a mistake or that they have to automatically go get a revision because it's just not what they wanted. I think that you owe it to yourself to really do your research and to find the person who um, can do exactly what you need, you know. And so I had the surgery. A week later, I started feeling the pains and everything, and I went to go get my packing out and get my catheter out. I couldn't pee, unfortunately, due to like swelling and stuff, so they recathetered me, which was not fun. Um, Not nearly as bad as boy catheter, though. Boy catheter is so much worse than girl catheter. Um, like penis versus, you know what I mean. You know what I mean. Um, the length of it definitely is far more irritating pre-op than post-op. And so we start recovering, and I don't really have any pain. I have like nerve pains, which feel like little lightning bolts, like pew, like shocking my coochie. And they definitely wake you up at night, and like you're icing constantly, to the point where the minute you run out of ice is when things start to kind of like swell up and get sore, and you start to feel it. So highly recommend having like tons of ice and tons of alternative options to that if you happen to run out. And my boyfriend was very on top of all the medication and, you know, swelling and stuff and icing, and he definitely was like a saving grace in this journey of mine. So up until the flight home, I didn't really have any issues. And we tried to fly on Wednesday and actually passed out in the airport, which was very unfortunate. I didn't really take any pain medication because I didn't really need it. And when I did take it, I took it, you know, pre-flight, and it's a 6-hour flight from California to Tennessee. And so I was just afraid of like hurting halfway home and like, you know, breaking down in tears or whatever and just feeling like I need something. But so I preemptively took it. I didn't eat, big mistake, and I passed out in the airport. Well, they call the people, the ambulance people, and they come and check me out. Everything's cool, so we hop back on we go to hop on the plane, and they shut the doors because we were late, and it's very sad. It seemed like everything was keeping us from that, so I feel like had we got on that plane, I would have had more complications than I do currently, because when I got home, there was like a small tear, and I was really like sad about it, really upset, and feeling like everything that day was like a mistake, and it was just really overwhelming to feel like it was all out of my control, you know. And they rebooked us 2 days later, and we got wheelchair service right off the bat. So I was sitting down and had ice on me the entire time while we were waiting. We got on the plane, they iced the entire time. And I do this really weird thing where like if I'm sitting in a chair or something, I tend to like want to put my feet up like and touch the desk and just sit like that. And that definitely helped me on the plane ride home. I stuck my toes like on the people's chairs in front of me with like the armrest. It didn't bother them, and it definitely helped me. So I was like, they complain, whatever. You didn't have surgery on your genitals, so shut up. Anyway, so you know, we got home, no swelling, and little changed from the time that we left the hotel to the time that we got home. So I think that we really, you know, definitely cut it close there. And since I've been home, I've been trying to be more independent, walking around and, you know, getting my own food and ice if I need it. I currently don't have to ice anymore as much as I did. The only time I do is if like I do something like lots of walking, or if I maybe like drive somewhere, like after I get out of the car, it tends to, you can't sit comfortably in the driver's seat of a car. At least I can't. And so things were a little puffier than usual, so I had to like throw some ice on there. And other than that, like, you know, it's it's all been great. I kind of broke down into tears last night because you just get so overwhelmed post surgery, and your brain wants to tell you there's so much change that has happened that you want to go back to a time before there was all this change, and that wouldn't benefit me in any way because I had more problems then than I do now. It's just now there's like maintenance until I get to where things normalize, and like there's no more swelling and dilating is less often. Um, and so, you know, post-op depression is definitely a thing. You should get someone that you can talk to and someone that you can confide in no matter the time, because mom hit me at like 3 or 4 in the morning and my boyfriend just happened to be awake. So um, definitely, you know, have somebody that you can talk to and expect it, because it will sneak up on you. And not to say that it's gonna just magically go away from here on out. It may get worse. It may like pop up every now and then. It may not pop up anymore. I don't know. I can't tell you that. But what I do know is, you know, the things that have happened and whatnot. I'm here. I'm fine. Physically, mentally, emotionally, like I'm good. And I feel like I made the right decision for myself. And I feel like every day that passes will be more eye-opening and just more relief that I get, you know, personally. So let's talk about some of the fun stuff. There's a lot of preparation you need beforehand if you're gonna go have surgery like this. So I bought like a huge box of puppy pads because you will use a lot of them. I use them, I lay them under my butt when I dilate, so that way if any lube or anything comes out, like it catches it, doesn't get your sheets dirty, yada yada yada. And you're gonna have to dilate for like, you know, they say the least is like 10 minutes, but I would not recommend 10 minutes. 3 times a day, usually like 10 to 30 minutes a day, and I've done 30 plus every day, just because I really want to make sure things do not close and I don't lose any depth. And you know, the next time I dilate, I want it to be the least uncomfortable as possible, because sometimes when you go like 8 hours without dilating, things tend to hurt when you're doing it. It's not so much the canal, it's the muscles around the canal that are really like strictured. There is, like for me, a little bit at the introitus that has like, it feels like I almost have to like reopen it every time, because it's like tries to heal in a certain spot, and I have to basically just keep it open, and eventually that all goes away and it normalizes. And you know, like at a year post-op, you only have to dilate twice a week, and that's nothing, you know, especially compared to now. 3 times a day is like really overwhelming. So you need puppy pads, you need lots of lube. I've used 3 bottles in this last month, so definitely stock up on that. Very loose clothing. You want, you know, like loose underwear, nothing tight, and lots of pads to put in your underwear so you don't like, you know, ruin them. I think that's about it. They will supply you with dilators, which is nice. However, they give you 4 based on your surgery outcome. And so for me, I had a little bit of a bleeding spot, so she started me on the smallest dilator that they had, which is very unfortunate because they supply you with 4 and there's 6 total, which means I don't have the 2 biggest sizes. And they're like, well, you can purchase those. So unfortunately, they're very expensive. I think they're like $100 per or something like that. So that's like $200 I have to spend on dilators. But they gave me 4, which last me a few months, and that's, you know, it's difficult going up sizes. It's not easy. I thought it was going to be just like, oh, here's one, up here's the next one, up here's no. They're like, it feels like you're gauging it, kind of. It's like really, really tight in there, and whenever you go up, it's like uncomfortable and whatnot. So definitely prepare for that. I'm guilty of thinking that being post-op would be a lot easier than it actually is, and telling myself, oh, it'll be okay. Like, I'll just make fun out of it, and I'll just turn on some music and dilate, and it won't be a problem. Like, no, like it's a lot. And I think that's why I kind of broke down last night. It was like, man, like I have to do this for so long, but you know, it comes with it, and I would much rather do this than have a penis. So, but I definitely feel more complete now and happier in my own skin. I put on some lingerie today, and I got to see my body's like curves, and there was no bulge of any kind, and I just really felt like I made the right decision for me. And I don't have to worry about tucking. I get to have hot girl summer and go out and wear swimsuits and, you know, whatever. And I'm over the moon for that, you know. And if anybody has any personal questions for me or about my surgeon or anything like that, I can't show pictures here, but I think you guys kind of know that. There's places where you can go see pictures of post-op vaginas, but YouTube is not that place. So just know that it is exactly what I wanted, it is exactly what I needed, and I'm very happy that I made this decision. And I'm over the moon, like I said. And oh, another thing. So insurance. My insurance covered everything except for my out-of-pocket maximum, which was roughly like whatever, $3,000. And so just know that your insurance has your back, and they will do everything in their power to, you know, I think they say they allot $75,000 for your transgender surgeries. At least mine did for Blue Cross, and they were very calm and stuff. I haven't got the actual bill. Sorry, I apologize. I haven't got the actual bill for the surgery, so I don't know ultimately what I'm paying, but what I had to pay up front was $3,000 that day, and I was like, sure, great, awesome. And that made me feel comfortable with like living in California for a while. And I think our Airbnb alone was $3,000. Our flights out there were $1,000, and like the surgery was $3,000. And like still, like I said, I don't know exactly the full amount of what could pop up, but it's a very expensive process and it's a very expensive thing. So if you plan on doing it in a year's time, in 2 years' time, whatever it may be, like save your money, and you know, work really hard, because it's the journey is absolutely worth it. And this is just the first video. In 3 months, when I do my 3-month post-op video, 2 months, you know what I mean. You know, just I'll have more details of how I am, and I think at that point that's when I'm cleared to do a lot of things, and things really like calm down. And so I'm really excited for that. And then, you know, I'll do like 3 months, 6 months, and then probably like a 1 year, something like that. But I definitely want to keep you guys posted, and definitely want to do more videos more often. I'm feeling better. I couldn't do videos like in the hospital, and I definitely couldn't do videos at the Airbnb because I was in a rough spot. Recovery is very intense. So I was taking that time for me to really get used to things. And so I would like to start doing YouTube videos again. you know, aside from bottom surgery and just talk about transitioning and happiness and whatever it may be. And if you have any personal questions for me or about my surgeon or anything in general that you want to hear about, like feel free to leave it below because I will gladly talk about it and gladly tell you my personal experience. And I pride myself on this channel about not giving you cookie cutter stuff. I want to tell you from my own life of how I deal with things and how I've done things and how things are, you know, going for me. So um, if this is your first time watching me, I have plenty of videos. I talk about anything and everything, and I would like to thank you for joining me in this time. And if this isn't your first time, I really appreciate all the love and support that I've had over the last year and a half that I've been doing YouTube. And I'm really grateful for just the generosity of people and the kindness of people. And I want to give that back as much as I can. So, oh, also, I forget to mention this. Thank you for 10,000 subscribers. That is 10,000 more than I ever thought I would have. When I first started making YouTube videos and I had like 200, I was like, wow, I have 200 people watching me. And now like I'm just like amazed that I've come so far on YouTube and that you guys really showed up and showed out for me. So thank you for that. And that's all for me today. And I will touch base with you guys soon about my next video, and I will talk more about this in a couple months. So thanks for watching. Y'all have a good day. Bye.